All right, here we go. So in this room today, it is likely that some of you, if not most, are receiving financial aid in various forms, some of which are student loans, which you will one day have to pay back. Others may be grants awarded to you in lieu of your prior achievements. Either way, the majority of you are receiving some form of financial aid to help fund your future and your success. What effect, then, does all that hard work or that pressure to pay back your loans have on how you treat your education? It is the hope of financial aid providers that it will provide incentive that pushes you to succeed. Financial aid is a way of encouraging us to follow through on that American pursuit of success, which is available to every single one of us. Providing free higher education to everyone in America will, without a doubt, kill that drive if no standards are put in place in order to earn and keep that free education. It will systematically reduce incentive for working towards higher paying careers, increase taxes on specific groups, and create a greater dependency upon the government. To understand why this is not a good cycle, we need to understand first why we need higher educated people. It has been a long-standing fact that when looking at the American population as a whole, higher education correlates to higher income. To give a better idea of just how influential this correlation is, I want to explain some data revealed in a report released in 2011 by the Georgetown University Center on Education and the Workforce, or better known as the CEW. Appropriately named the College Payoff, this report entails the analysis of various studies done on a lifetime effects of a higher education. One such analysis, done on the 2007 to 2009 American Community Survey by the CEW researchers Anthony P. Carnville, Stephen J. Rose, and Bonchia, revealed the median lifetime earnings based on highest educational attainment. The results of those who only graduated with a high school diploma leveled out at around $1.3 million over the course of their lifetime. Those who earned a bachelor's degree earned around $2.2 million, while a doctorate degree recipient typically earned $3.2 million. The results of this survey have held constant in years past, providing sufficient evidence that education equals money. Looking at the population as a whole, a higher educated nation creates greater mobility in the economy, which basically means one individual has the knowledge and skills to become marketable in many different fields. This simply means that they hold a greater chance of employment, therefore a greater income, therefore more individuals paying more in taxes to provide the country with more money to run and improve itself. So in theory, making college more affordable is a good idea, but where truly free college improves one area, it will create a much more debilitating problem in another. The reason I say this is because I firmly doubt the work ethic of the American people when they have no real investment in their education. As a way of justifying my doubts, I'd like to take a look at a similar sector of the U.S. economy, such as unemployment. In the presence of programs such as welfare or the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, otherwise known as SNAP, which provides EBT cards, unemployment has become much less devastating to families across America. In one sense, for those truly suffering from being laid off, this is a positive result. Yet, in another sense, when one considers how these programs can be taken advantage of, the tax-paying population, like most of us, could be paying out massive dollars to undeserving individuals. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in a study conducted from 2000 all the way until January of 2016, they found that true unemployment in the U.S. rose from 10 million to 15.6 million in those very significant 16 years. No one can deny that's a large number of people without jobs. But here's the catch. True unemployment is when someone has been laid off from work and can't seem to get hired again. I want to point out that true unemployment is not the heart of the job crisis that our country faces. In fact, it's not a job crisis at all. It's a lack of desire to work that plagues the U.S. today. The same study showed that the number of individuals who can work but are choosing not to, shows that the number of individuals who work but are choosing not to rose from an already astonishing starting point of 68.7 million as compared to the 10 million that are truly unemployed, and it rose to an astonishing 94.1 million. This situation showcases perfectly how, when given the means to sustain without contributing to the betterment of themselves or the country, people will not push themselves. So how then do we prevent free college from happening while still somehow motivating people to earn a degree? Producing a better educated, more marketable workforce is essential to improving America's economic stability. But providing free college is not the way to achieve this. On one end of providing free college, higher earning households will suffer tax increases in order to pay the tab. And on the other end, individuals who have no personal investment in their education would likely not be motivated enough to finish out their degree or find a job after completion of their degree. To show how free education does not always produce a higher number of educated workers, I'd like to take a look at an article released on February 17th of this year. NPR.org reporters Anya Kamenetz and Eric Westervelt uncovered that the U.S. ranks 9th in the world in its educated workforce, even while the college here is not free. The U.S. has the same ratio of college-educated workers as Sweden and just 2% less than Norway. The reason I'm comparing the U.S. to these countries is because both Norway and Sweden are examples of countries that offer free college education. So what we can gather from this data is that even in the presence of free education, countries do not excel. In order to meet the need for a greater educated population, America simply needs to do their part to pursue academic success. Affordable college is readily available to any American who works towards it. Federal and state programs, private aid, and self-funding are all resources that people can use to get through college. The best part is that an individual who has to work hard to pay their tuition is likely to finish out their degree and go on to secure a better providing career, which they've already invested so much money into. To recap what I've discussed, free education is not the answer to improving the lives of Americans. Instead, it will only create a cycle that reduces the drive to pursue higher-end careers. In order to get people through college and into the workforce with a better education, we need to provide incentive to those who work towards obtaining those goals and avoid making hardworking households cover the bill to pay for those who don't contribute. When you leave this room today, there are numerous ways you can help yourself as well as others afford education. But for starters, you can start by visiting your school's local financial aid office. Once you've figured out how you can afford your education, make large efforts to succeed in your academics. Providing that you graduate college, go out and secure a job, whether it be in your field or not. The real issue facing our country is getting able-bodied people to obtain a job and sustain themselves. If all Americans tried harder to do these things, then the government programs and tax system we already have in place would be better able to provide financial aid for education or incentives for those who pursue success.